Hello, everyone. My name is Mia, and this is the story of how my life broke into pieces and how love quietly found its way back to me. I was 33 years old when my husband died. People said time would heal, but time didn't heal me. It just kept moving while I stood still. I had a 6-year-old daughter, Naina, whose laughter was the only reason I got out of bed every morning. We lived in a small rented room, cracked walls, a leaky ceiling, and a window that showed the gray sky of the city. Every day, I counted coins before going to the market, wondering how long I could stretch them. My husband, Arjun, had been a kind man, soft-spoken, steady, always smiling even when life was hard. The night he died in that accident, a part of me died too. But life doesn't stop for grief. Bills kept coming. Naina needed milk, and rent didn't wait for tears. One morning, after weeks of searching, I saw a newspaper ad. Receptionist needed, Sunrise Group of Industries. I don't know why, but something about the name gave me hope. I borrowed a faded blue sari from my neighbor and took an old file with my certificates. When I reached the company, the glass doors reflected a version of me I barely recognized, tired eyes, trembling hands, but still standing. I waited outside the cabin of Mr. Rakesh Malhotra, the company owner. Everyone spoke his name with fear, powerful, rich, and known for getting what he wanted. When the peon called me in, I whispered a prayer and stepped inside. Rakesh looked at me slowly from head to toe. "You're the applicant?" he asked, leaning back in his chair. "Sir, I've worked in a clinic before, and I can handle reception work." He raised his hand to stop me. "Much do you need the job?" I froze. "Sir," he smiled, but it wasn't a kind smile. "I can give you the job if you agree to spend one night with me." For a second, I didn't understand what he meant. And then I did. My heart stopped. The room began to blur. "Sir, please, I came here for work." "Not." He got up from his chair and walked toward me. "Pretend to be so innocent, Mia. You know how the world works. You want to feed your daughter, right?" Tears filled my eyes. I took a step back, clutching my sari. "Please, let me go." He reached out, trying to pull my polo. And that's when the door burst open. A familiar voice called out. I turned, and for a second, I couldn't believe my eyes. It was Rohit, my husband's best friend. He walked in, his eyes burning with anger. "Rakesh, how dare you touch her?" Rakesh stuttered. What are you doing here?" "I came for a business meeting," Rohit said, his voice cold. "And I'm glad I came early." Took off his coat and wrapped it around me. My hands were shaking, and I could barely breathe. "Come on, Mia," he said gently. "Let's get you out of here." I followed him out silently, my heart still pounding in the car. I couldn't stop crying. "I'm sorry," I whispered. "I just wanted to earn for Naina." I didn't know. He looked at me, his eyes full of pain and care. "Mia, you don't have to apologize for someone else's filth. You were brave. You said no. That's what matters." A few days later, Rohit came to see me and Naina. He brought groceries and a new school bag for her. At first, I refused. "I can't take this, Rohit. You've already done enough." Smiled softly. "I'm not helping out of pity. I'm helping because you're family. Arjun was my brother, and you, Mia, you're not alone." Offered me a job at his own firm. It wasn't big, just a small office dealing with logistics, but it was honest work. When I joined, everyone was kind. For the first time in years, I felt respected. Rohit made sure I never had to feel small or scared again. Slowly, my days began to fill with something other than worry work. Laughter. Little moments. At lunch, he would ask, "Did you eat, Mia?" And I'd tease him, "You ask that every day. Do you ever eat on time yourself?" He'd laugh, "Only when you remind me." Months passed. Naina adored Rohit. She'd wait at the door every evening just to see if he was coming. He would lift her up, spin her around, and say, "My little princess. Did you trouble your mother today?" Watching them together filled my heart with something warm and frightening. I didn't want to admit it, but I was beginning to feel again, to smile, to dream. One evening after work, we were closing the office. The city lights shimmered through the window. "Do you ever miss him?" Rohit asked quietly. "Every day," I said. "But I think he'd want me to live, not just survive." He nodded. "I think so too. He loved you more than anything. He used to tell me, if anything ever happens to me, promise me you'll take care of Mia and Naina." My breath caught. He said that. Rohit looked away, his voice trembling slightly. "Yes, and I promised him I would." I didn't know what to say. The room felt heavy with silence. All I could do was whisper, "Thank you, Rohit, for everything." Smiled, but his eyes were wet. "You don't have to thank me, Mia. I just want to see you happy again." That night, I couldn't sleep. I sat by the window, looking at the moon, the same moon that had watched me cry for years. But now, my tears were different. Softer, lighter. Was it wrong to feel this way? To want to smile when I thought of him? The next morning, Naina ran into the room shouting, "Mama, Uncle Rohit is here." He was standing at the door, holding a small pot with a flowering plant. "For your balcony," he said. "A new start needs something that grows." I laughed. "You sound like a poet," he shrugged. "Maybe I'm learning from you." Something shifted between us that day, quiet, gentle, but real. One evening, months later, it started to rain, soft, silver rain that made the city glow. Rohit offered to drop me home. But when we reached my gate, neither of us moved. He looked at me, then at the rain outside. "Can I tell you something?" "Of course," I said, my voice barely a whisper. He took a deep breath. "I don't want to overstep. I know you've been through a lot, but somewhere along the way, I started caring for you more than I should have. I love you, Mia." The world seemed to stop. The sound of rain filled the silence. "I know it's too soon," he continued, "and I'll never pressure you. I just wanted you to know. Because for me, love isn't about replacing anyone. It's about standing beside you, helping you live again." Filled my eyes, but they weren't from pain this time. I reached for his hand. "Rohit, I was afraid to feel again. I thought love only happens once. But maybe love doesn't end, it changes shape, finds us again when we least expect it." Looked at me, his eyes searching mine. "Does that mean?" I smiled through my tears. "Yes, Rohit. It means I love you too." Wedding was small, just close friends and family. Naina danced in a pink dress, laughing louder than anyone. When I looked at her, I realized that she finally had the happy home she deserved. Rohit never tried to take Arjun's place. He simply became a part of our story. Sometimes, at night, when I tucked Naina into bed, I'd whisper a thank you to the sky, to the man who once promised to protect me, and to the man who kept that promise. Life gave me pain, but it also gave me courage. It took away love, but it brought it back in a different form, gentler, deeper, wiser. If there's one thing I've learned, it's this: no night lasts forever. the same world that breaks your heart can also heal it if you dare to believe again. That day at the company, I thought my life had ended in shame and fear. But that was the day destiny quietly turned the page. Sometimes, all it takes is one moment of kindness, one person who says, "You're not alone." And when love returns, after everything you've lost, it doesn't come with fireworks. It comes softly, like rain after a long summer, washing away the dust and making everything bloom again. My name is Mia, and this is how love found me again.